Did Macron blink, in your opinion?
I don't think he did, really, Nigel. I think that something that hasn't been reported in Britain is that the French, as is very typical over here, had a very, very long weekend. It was a bank holiday here on Monday, and it seemed a very, very good idea, I think, for French politicians. They're always a bit flummoxed after a bank holiday. They take a while to get back into the groove, as it were. And so there was every reason to say, well, let's wait a few days. Let's have a few more discussions. Let's have a lunch with Lord Frost in Paris on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting meal with Clement Beaune, who is a very, very lively conversationalist, as it were, comes out with lots of anti-British rhetoric. But no, I honestly think that it's just been postponed, this issue. Very important point, Nigel, which is also being underplayed, is there were lots of buoyant headlines today about a British boat that was allegedly released from custody, from French custody in Le Havre today. Total nonsense. It's still there.
Yeah.
And owners of the boat, their legal representatives in court in Rouen tomorrow. That goes on and on. And that was a pretty poor claim by George Eustace, the Environment Secretary, early this morning, saying that the Cornelius had actually been freed. Not true at all. That goes on and on, Nigel.
Well, certainly, I don't think the British can afford to back down at all. And, there's fresh evidence here. These fishing boats have something called AIS, which they have to have on, which proves where they are. Whitehall has been saying quite clearly, or briefing quite clearly, that many of these boats that have applied for licences, they can prove are not telling the truth because of AIS tracking about where they were fishing and about historic rights. And this is really the way the French have played the common fisheries policy from the very start, is to pretend they fished in different waters to where they usually went, to pretend they caught a load more than they did, and they've benefited from the system. So I can't see the British or Jersey governments backing down too much on this. We've got the meeting with Frost later on this week. Is Macron really going to precipitate a trade war over this? Is that really possible, Peter?
Well, I don't think we're going to get a full-blown trade war, but certainly frictions are going to remain. And I think there'll be more and more incidents, Nigel. I think this will go on and on. Of course, officially, it's the EU that's meant to be negotiating with Britain. Yeah. The French are very, very keen to certainly give that impression. It's almost like they know the EU is meant to be sorting everything out, but they can't resist commenting and getting involved. Macron is almost holding himself back, as French presidents do. But again, Clement Beaune, who's meeting Lord Frost in Paris on Thursday, he's coming out with really fiery language, anti-British language. And this is how the whole dispute is being handled. Again, I don't think it will turn into a full-blown trade war, but I think this is certainly an issue which will go on and on. I speak to the French fishermen a lot, especially those with the smaller boats, below 12 metres. Yeah. They're not interested in the new technology. They're saying they should be allowed to go out there and fish as they want and as they've always done in living memory, they would say, them and their fathers before them. But of course, the French effectively arresting this British boat is something that has really upped the ante. And again, I can't see it being resolved.